Starting us off today on John, the real deal. A world fact. In California, there was a P-51 jet that was taken down by a death of dozens of birds. Next, we're going to start off with a little question about steroids equaling sports athletes in their career. My personally opinion equals that why would you be stupid enough to risk all of your money just to get a little bit bigger and more of an edge on the guy? The fame of your name, people are going to be wearing it around. People wearing your jersey out to bars and all that. Pretty much sells your own endorsement. You think people are still going to want to wear your name to this place because you wore steroids? Me personally, I noticed that I don't see Barry Bonds jerseys anymore. I don't see half of people that were accused of the steroids on interviews, on commercials, on the news. So, sum that up. Do you think steroids are really that important just to gain a little bit more of an edge? Why don't you just sit there and take it like a man? If the guy's bigger and better, it's just simple that he's bigger and better. If you're bigger and better, you have the self-satisfaction to tell yourself that, hey, I actually did the full thing for the day. Right now, we're going to switch the camera over to my assistant, Nick Koenig.
Hello.
I'm going to tell you this little story about steroids. It's about this kid, Chris Walsh, a 6'2", would be considered, most people would consider him big enough. But Chris didn't think that he was big enough. So he wound up taking anabolic steroids. What really happened to Chris? He was kicked off of every sport that he went out for. He hid the syringes in his room and stuck them under heat in 1 minute. Little technical difficulties. Chris died. Chris died because of HIV. He shared steroid syringes with his teammates and one day croaked. For our final subject, we're going to abortions. We're going to have a little Q&A where my assistant is going to ask me questions and I will give you my own opinion.
It's on you.
It's good juice.
How do you feel about abortions?
My opinion on abortions is, let me think about this a little. It's okay for certain people. Like, say, if you're an 18-year-old teenager and you know you can't provide for the baby, either take it like a man and put it up for adoption, or wind up putting it in for abortion. That's my opinion on abortions. It's okay for certain people, not for everybody.
Do you feel it's morally right to get an abortion?
It's not morally right. So if you want to live on that for your conscience, for the younger people, if you're an older person getting abortion, that's just not right. And I'll explain that later, hopefully. But no, it's not morally right, but it's their choice. So they're going to have to live with that on their moral conscience of taking a little baby and pretty much signing the death certificate. Thank you. Next question, please.
When do you think it's right to have an abortion or not have an abortion?
The only time, and I'm putting this in quotes, the only time that it is appropriate to have an abortion is if you know you will not be able to care for that baby. Therefore, you want it to not grow up in the poorhouse or anything. So it's only right to have an abortion if you are young. If you're older, you have the support to put up for the baby. You have the baby and take it like a man because it's your fault. Next question, please.
Say a woman who has had sex with a man who she doesn't even know and will probably leave her. Is it right for her to have an abortion?
The only time that it is right for her to have an abortion is when she is a younger person and she knows she won't be able to put up with the baby. Say if it's an older person, they pretty much got their life set and it was their fault for not wearing protected sex, condoms, birth control. It's their fault. They must put up with it. If they don't have the right to put up with it, they don't have the right to be a parent. They shouldn't even have the right to have sex. Thank you. Anything else?
No, that is all.
Thank you, and good night. One more thing. About the steroids section, I once heard about this guy playing football. This came from my math teacher. And he was running on the field. He went to go take a tackle. And his whole arm, the muscle and everything, split. And all you could see was the bone. And with that, I leave you. Thank you and goodbye. This has been John on John, the real deal.
John, the real deal. Woo!